Today we're looking at something that tackles a feeling I think pretty much all of us have felt at some point. That moment when you're standing at a massive fork in the road and you just have no idea which way to go. Have you ever been there? Staring down a huge decision about love or your job or maybe something with your family, and you just feel stuck? That feeling of uncertainty, well, it's about as universal as it gets. And it's exactly in those moments that we start searching, right? Looking for some kind of clarity, a little bit of peace. The source material we're digging into today explores one very specific avenue people go down when they're looking for those answers. Yeah, the text we're looking at really centers on this idea that when life throws you a curveball, some people turn to spiritual guidance. And this source points us toward a specific option over in Birmingham in the UK. And that brings us to the person at the heart of our source material, an individual named Master Kalyan. He's presented as a spiritual advisor based right there in Birmingham. Now, according to the text, we're not just talking about anyone. Master Kalyan is described as this really experienced guide for life's big challenges, someone who's apparently helped a ton of people figure out their path and find a little bit of calm. And what's interesting is how the source breaks down the different hats he wears. It's not just one thing. He's listed as a psychic, a spiritual advisor, an astrologer, and even a spiritual healer. So a few different disciplines all rolled into one. Okay, so with all these different roles, what kind of actual real-world challenges does the source say he helps with? Well, it seems to be broken down into some pretty major areas of life. So the text lays out these 5 key areas. You've got the really personal stuff, the complexities of love and relationships, all the way up to the huge decision of marriage. Then it shifts to the professional world, career, business, and it also tackles those tricky family dynamics. And it all kind of wraps up with this idea of spiritual healing and getting your energy right. So what's the end game here? Well, it all points to this promise of personalized advice. The goal, as the source describes it, is for people to walk away with a much clearer picture of their own journey and, the confidence to actually take the next step. But how? What's the method behind all this? The source material puts a really big emphasis on one tool in particular, astrology. The text we're looking at defines astrology very specifically. It's presented as this tool for digging up hidden influences by studying where the planets are and looking at spiritual energies. The whole idea here is that there are these unseen forces kind of shaping our lives. And this slide shows us where that insight can be applied. According to the document, astrology is used to help people understand their own strengths and weaknesses, to figure out the best timing for those big life decisions, to get a handle on relationship dynamics, and even to spot new career opportunities. Now, with any kind of service like this, the question of trust is huge, right? It's everything. The source material seems to know this, and it lays out a few reasons why someone might put their trust in this particular advisor. So here's the list of reasons the text gives. It points to years of experience and claims he makes accurate predictions, but it also promises that the consultations are totally confidential, the advice is practical and down to earth, and his whole approach is friendly and supportive. And to really underline the supposed impact, the source includes this quote about what clients feel. The keywords really jump out: relieved, empowered, and hopeful. The text directly connects these feelings to people getting a better handle on their own lives. The material also makes a big deal about privacy. It clearly states that every single consultation is kept completely confidential and is handled with respect, which, let's be honest, is absolutely critical when people are opening up about very personal stuff. And finally, the source gives the practical details. For anyone who's interested in learning more, it lists a phone number and a website to get in touch and maybe book a consultation. So, after all that, we're left with a big question that this source material is really asking. By suggesting we can find answers by looking up at the stars, it forces you to wonder, is our destiny already mapped out for us? Or is it something we're supposed to create as we go? It's a pretty powerful thought to chew on.